The world was broken, nations scattered, hearts turned inward, but God was not finished. He looked for a man, not powerful, not perfect, but willing. And in the dust of the earth he found him, Abram, one man, one promise that would change the world. God said, "Leave everything," and Abram did, not knowing where he was going, only knowing who was calling. With every step, faith grew stronger, and with every mile, a nation began to form, invisible but destined. One night, under a canopy of stars, God made a covenant. "Your descendants will be more than these." But Abram had no son, no heir, just a heart that believed the impossible. Faith doesn't wait for proof. It trusts the promiser more than the promise. And then, after years of waiting, when hope seemed impossible, a cry pierced the silence. Isaac was born, a son not just for Abraham, but for a future people, a living promise that God keeps his word. But promises are not easy paths. God tested Abraham's heart to see if the gift had replaced the giver. On the mountain, with trembling hands, Abraham surrendered his son, and God provided a ram. Grace was written on that hill. Isaac's son Jacob ran from his mistakes but couldn't run from God. In a dream, God met him, and in a wrestling match, God changed him from deceiver to Israel, from wanderer to father of a people. One of Jacob's sons, Joseph, was betrayed, abandoned, sold, but even in prisons and palaces, God was with him. What others meant for evil, God turned for good, to save many lives and to prepare a place for his people. The story began with one man. Now it was 70 people, and growing, not just a family, a nation in the making, chosen not for privilege but for purpose, to carry God's light into a dark world. Genesis ends in Egypt, but the promise didn't. God's chosen people would one day leave that land and step into destiny, not because they were good, but because God is. The story of Genesis isn't over because the promise made to Abraham was for the whole world. And today, you're part of it. Chosen, called, invited into a plan that spans generations. Because when God writes a story, it never ends with just one family. It ends with the world restored. From one man to many, from one promise to eternity.